Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are in the building. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Pitches talk with Michael McDermott, man. Yes. Chick-ching, chick-ching. One more time. I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you're feeling blessed. It's a blessing to be alive, man. It truly is. Let me make sure I'm where I need to be. Check out the page. See what's going on. Oh yeah, I see us. I see us. Make sure that audio's right. All right. All right, here we go. First of all, let's go ahead and start off with a big shout out to today's, today's sponsors. Let's give them a shout out. First of all, let's go with Bin Monsters. Big shout out to Bin Monsters. Are you tired of stinky bins? They handle the dirty work, residential trash can cleaning. Before and after, you see the before and after. You got dirty trash cans, now you got clean trash cans. You ever been to the park and something just smells like trash? It's like, what's going on? You need to call or text 255. There might be 256. I don't know. Let's go 255-581-1755 or visit binmonsters.com. Check them out. They kill bacteria and germs. They use high pressure hot water and they're eco-friendly. Also, how about my partners at West Rentals? Hold on a second. I can't do that without showing you. Boom. My fault. That was my fault. One more time, you see it on the left, Bin Monsters. And that's a cool little poster they got. Tired of stinky bins, you read that. Check them out. You see the number on the screen. Then also we have West Rentals. West Rentals. You can get tents. They got chairs. Everything you need at West Rentals. Tell them I sent you. Good people over there. And you call them at 256-600-5955. So big shout out to both of those amazing companies. And then how about our feature sponsor today? If I can find them. Let's go with everybody's favorite Perfect Pro Wash. Perfect Pro Wash, man. Perfect Pro Wash, it's getting to be summertime. You want outside to look good. Expert exterior cleaning. That's 256-600-8898. They're going to take care of everything for you outside. House washing, fence cleaning, roof cleaning, all those kind of things. They take care of it. Tell them Mike sent you. Big shout out to them. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, man. I'm excited about them. Good friends of mine over there. All right. So let's see what I look like. Get the screen together. Hey, a little crowd be jumping, though. It's good. It's good. All right, man. I got my Lokes on today. Boom. I'm excited about life. Today, we are going to go back into our basics. We're going to start teaching our basics one more time. Now, yesterday, we went over our support and resistance. If you remember, the whole key to what we're doing is buying at the support, which is at the bottom, and then selling at the resistance or above resistance, which is at the top. We went over that. So if you missed it, go over and check that lesson out. And we'll be talking about that as time goes. But right now we are in just going over our basics. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Hoping we're learning something. And every time we learn something, we add something new to our repertoire. And that's going to make us successful. I truly believe it. All right. So let's talk about today, Japanese candlesticks. Japanese candlesticks. I know a lot of times when you're trading, you're not really looking to read these sticks, but I'm telling you, these sticks are the key, to being successful when it comes to any type of trading. All right. So when you look, you're naturally going to see a green and you're going to see a red. Green means it's going up. Red means it's going down. Here at Baby Pips, they call it a shadow, but I want to call these wicks. We call these wicks. And these wicks are what tells us what happens in a certain time frame. All right, so we're working with time frames. Let's go over to a real chart so we can see what we're talking about. Here on our Bitcoin chart, you are looking at a whole lot of candlesticks here, and this is a 1 hour chart. That means that every one of these candlesticks is 1 hour. So this candlestick went from 78,000 all the way to 80,000. I mean 80,400 in 1 hour. Now, if I broke that down into minutes, there would be 60 candlesticks in this one candlestick. And that's how it works, man. It's really a beautiful thing. All right, so let's learn more about it. It says here where the wick is, that is where it has traveled during the time period. Okay, so during this whole wick, it's gone up there and it's gone all the way down here, but it opened at the fat part and it closed at the fat part. So that's called the body. That's what's important. The body is where it opened and where it closed. The wick is where it has been in the time frame, and it tells you a lot because you never know where it's going, but you got to know where it's been. And where it closes tells you the story of the day. All right. So if it's green, that means it went up during the day. And if it's red, it means it went down during the day. So those are your two options. Now here it's showing black, but really this is red. I like my candlesticks to be black too. For some reason, red causes panic. All right. Now, when you got little short bodies or little means that there hasn't been much movement in their time period. So here is a short body. That means it's only moved up and down a little bit. And a long body means there's been a lot of movement. All right. So that's natural. That's not even any strong science. That's just a fact. And then when you see long candlesticks that are filled, it shows strong pressure. That means that there's been big moves in that time period, big moves in that day. But you can have a big move in a minute, but on an hour it looks like this, right? So that's why time frames are important, and we'll be studying those so we can be more knowledgeable about what's really going on and not faked out. All right, quote unquote. All right. When you're looking at long wicks show that that trading action was confined near the open and close. So that says a long wick shows that when it opened, it went a far distance, and then by the time it closed, it came back. And that shows that that shows some faking out. I mean, when things like that are happening, when you get long wicks on the top and the bottom, you're really in a time where they call there's a battle going on. You really don't want to be in those markets. And so, we notice those to happen, and we'll just kind of stay away from those markets. Watch out for that commercial. Just popped up. All right. Now, what we want to do is we want to start reading these interesting. Now, they all have certain names. I think this is cool. When you start talking to traders, they start having these funny names for everything. So, for instance, this is a spinning top. A spinning top. It's funny. It looks like a top. They also might call this a doji candle. A doji or a spinning top means that there is indecision. So it goes all the way to the top and it goes all the way to the bottom, and you got this little bitty fat part in the middle. Now that's tough because you might buy down at the bottom thinking it's going somewhere, and then it flies all the way up, and then it ends up in the same place it started. And so that's how trading is funny. You can make money in those situations, but I think it's not wise to kind of trade in those, and we'll learn later why it's not wise to learn. I was watching a guy today. I'm kind of studying and learning. He said the days you don't trade and you maintain your capital, a lot of times that's the best way to trade. If at the end of the day you have maintained your capital, you did a great job of trading. All right, so it's not all about trading. There's no need to trade if you're going to take a loss, and that's a fact. I'm spitting, boy. I feel like that was a wrap. All right. So then here goes. These are called a Mariposa. I think there's another name for this. A Mariposa is a crazy sign because that means there are no wicks. If there's no wicks, you talking about boom, like something big is going down. That means that it opened and it closed and it moved the entire time. That means there was heavy volume. So let's say you got a 1 minute pattern, and ever since it came in that minute, it started going all the way up and it closed at the top of the pattern. So that shows that there's heavy action, and a lot of times that's when you want to get in. That shows power on one side or the other. All right. Here goes our doji candles. Our doji candle are the same thing. Like I was saying, the doji candle that's different than the spinning star is that it's just one little line. It actually ends exactly where it started. All right. And so you have your long-legged doji. You have a dragonfly doji where it stops here at the very top, goes all the way down, and then it ends in the same place. A gravestone doji where it goes all the way to the top, high, and then it ends in the same place. And then a 4-price doji where it doesn't move at all. Doji signals that buyers are becoming exhausted and weakened. All right. And so like every candle tells you something that's going on next. All right. Let's get into something else. I'm gonna go into one more and then we'll get into our charts. This is my favorite. It's called the hammer. They call one a hangman, but I just call them hammers. A hammer and a hangman. The hammer looks like a hammer, and the hammer has a long wick, and then all of a sudden, before it closes, it swings back up, and it has a fat top, and that just says that they tried it, but it didn't work. All right, and that shows power. So the sellers may try to take the price down, but before it was all over, the buyers came and took control at the very end. And that means that on the next candlestick, the buyers will probably have control. And anytime you see a hammer or an inverted hammer, you're probably talking about a move to the reversal. That's a big sign for a reversal. And it's exciting to see it because that means now you can probably get a good trade in. All right. The hanging man. I rarely see hanging man. The hanging man is when it's a bearish reversal pattern and it shows a strong resistance level. All right, the price is rising and then the sellers are beginning to outnumber the buyers. So you want to be aware of all these candles. Now, I tell you another thing though that's crazy about candles though. Heads up, listen. Candles will change according to the time frame, like I said. So just because you got a candle on the 1 minute or the 5 minute, that doesn't mean that it's going to change. It's going to be the same thing on the 1 hour. All right. Every little thing that happens within every candle matters according to that time frame, and then that coincides with how much money you're going to make. So if you're trying to set up a daily candle is going to take 24 hours. But within that, you're going to get thousands and thousands of 1 minute candles that are doing all kind of different things. So you have to determine how much money you want to make according to the time frame, which also accords to your bankroll. Okay, risk management is most important. Like I said, I'm gonna say it all the time. It's okay not to trade. It's okay to end up with zero, but you don't want to go negative. All right. So here's an inverted hammer and a shooting star. The shooting star is a bearish reversal candle. Swings all the way to the top, boom, and then all of a sudden it bangs down, but it's still in the positive. That's a shooting star, all right? And so that's a crazy looking thing. And when you see that, you might as well just know it's going down because energy is slammed down. Boom. That means on the next candle, it's still got energy going that way. That's all we're looking for is energy. I look at resistance and support like fences. Is it an electric fence? Bzz, does it shock? Or is it the kind of fence that you break through and you continue to go? All right. So when you see those, and that gives you a chance to know that you're confident in putting your money into that trade. All right. Dual candlesticks. This is the last one. I want to go into our bullish and bearish engulfing, and we'll talk about this later. And engulfing means you have one pattern, you have one stick that comes out and it's big, and then the next stick is different, but it takes over the stick. So it's engulfing. So here we have a candlestick that goes down. It's a bearish. Then the next stick all of a sudden is a bullish and it goes all the way up and engulfs the whole thing. That tells you that it has engulfed, it swallowed it up. And that tells you that the next candle will probably go in the same pattern. And so that gives you enough confidence to go ahead and put some money into the next position. And that's how we use candlesticks to decide. Now, the fun part, we're going to go into tweezer bottoms and tweezer tops tomorrow. But today we're going to get right into our charts for the fun part. And let's look at these trades that we had going on the other day. Of course, our favorite Bitcoin out here just doing what it wants to do. Now, what did we say? I love being right, and we've drawn our lines. I said Bitcoin will go up and touch this 80, which it did. It touched the 80. And then once that's that resistance line, look at this resistance. Bzz, It hit that resistance and then it shot back down. Then it came back up and hit it again. So it's like it's knocking at the door. Boom. It's pushing up. Boom. It's pushing. And we can pretty much guarantee that once it breaks through here, whenever that time is, that it's going to go. And see what's happening now. I hope you see it. This was the resistance. This was the resistance ceiling. Once it breaks through the resistance ceiling and lives up above it, then that resistance becomes support. Wow. That's the money. When the resistance that was the ceiling then becomes the floor, now you have a bounce. That's where bounces come from. You come through. So let's talk about it in life. In life, when you're trying to elevate in life, you're doing the best you can and you're trying to win, boom, boom, and then you elevate and you go to the next level. Now, the next level where you were becomes the floor. You can't go back to where you were, but you actually use where you were to support your bounce to the next level. And that's what the markets are doing. So right now, Bitcoin is using 80,000 as a resistance level. As a support level. But earlier when we were 2 days ago, it was the resistance. Now it's support. So we're looking for this to bounce off and take off to the upside. Now, there's a good possibility that once it gets above 81,000, it's going to have to find new resistance. It's going to have to find a new resistance point. And the way we find our new resistance is through is through something we draw with, and it's called Fibonacci. Fibonacci retracement or Fibonacci channels. All right, you'll see them all over the place. And it tells you according to how far you want to go. So if I'm moving up, these are the zones where Bitcoin will find its resistance. Okay, and then, you'll be able to mark through that. We'll go over that on another lesson, but that's the easy way to do it. If you don't want to use those things, is to just go back in history. Just go back in history. Look at the last time something like this happened. Here we go, right here. This is a perfect example. I'm glad we did this. Let's zoom in on November 20th, 2025. Bitcoin bounced as support. It bounced off of 80,500. Just a clear bounce, clear as day right there. It bounced right off of it. And you can just say that, hey, if it happened then, it will happen now. That is the point, because you can't get over how people think. People think this way. If I pay $5 for something for my whole life, that is a subliminal price in my head. So when it's $5, I'm automatically going to buy it. But when I go one day and it's $7, I'm going to wait a minute. I'm used to paying $5. Why would I pay $7? But then slowly but surely, I notice everybody's playing $7. Okay, I'm going to pay $7 this time because I really want the product, but I'm not going to pay $9. But then one day when it gets back to $5 becomes the support instead of the ceiling. All right, and so let's have the mindset of that. So I'm glad that we got in at Bitcoin at 75, right? When we read what we read, we got in at 75. Now, I'm not working with a large bankroll. I just put a little bit in at 75, but I can hold that at 75 as it goes on this. Now, here's our thing. If this breaks through 80, then we have to decide at what point are we going to buy more if we want to go on with the rise, and what point will it drop back down, because it can always drop right back down into 75. Now, if it drops back down to 75, we'll definitely get more. And how do we find out? We go to the order book, right? Here's the order book. Now, look at the order book. It's saying you got all these people that are willing to sell what they have when it gets to a certain rate. It says here that when Bitcoin gets to 81,000, there are 289 people that are waiting to sell this Bitcoin. 21 Bitcoin, 12 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin. All right, remember, a Bitcoin is 79,000 a piece. So if somebody's ready to sell 27 of those, that's a lot of money. But on the other end, all these people are ready to buy Bitcoin. Look at these people that are ready. You got 122 people ready to buy Bitcoin at 80,400, right? Also, you got people that are down here waiting for Bitcoin to get back down to lower rates so that they can buy. Let's go to a negative. Let's go. Look at all these people waiting to buy on Bitcoin when it gets back down to 79,000. Now, where are some of these people? When it gets down to 79,000, there are 310 orders already in the book waiting to buy more Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? And like, you have to decide, like, what point are you going to be? Because remember this is another key. And remember this is about all assets. When you buy the asset, you're not buying the asset from the store. You're not buying it from a warehouse. You're buying it from another person. Another person is agreeing to give you their asset at their price. So if you say, hey, I want to buy Bitcoin right now at 80,000, there's a person in the world that's saying you can have my Bitcoin for 80,000. If there's nobody that's willing to sell it to you, then you can't get it. And even crazier, if you got a whole bunch of people that are saying, hey, I'm not selling my Bitcoin unless it's 100,000. And nobody's willing to sell their Bitcoin for 100,000. That means that the price has to be 100,000. You see what I'm saying? But fortunately, you've got all these billionaires that are sitting here at these books as their job. And every day they're just putting Bitcoin out. They're buying it. They're going to buy it at a little bit. And then they're going to sell it at a little bit. You know what I'm saying? At a 10-cent spread. And like, that's how they make money. Like, man, just on this 2% move on the past 2 days, these billionaires have added millions of dollars to their liquidity. So big shout out to them. That's good. All right. Let's go over to Forex. Let's look at what we've done here. Forex, we had our positions yesterday. I'm in 21 positions. And I've gone on slow positions today. We have made, let's see, $17, which is right up under what we want to do. $17 is good. I'm in a trade with Aussie and the yen, and I'm down 75 pips. And the question is, how do you get out of being down 75 pips? Let's see if I can't slow play a win for the crowd. Now, if I would have been ready, I would have caught this. Notice that the RSI right here is over 75. My play would have been, when the RSI is high like this, I would have put in a buy. Yeah, I would have put in a buy, and I would have, because I only have a 1 cent lot open, I would have put in a buy for 15 cents and squeezed it so tight that the next move, all I needed was 2 pips to reach my take profit. And that's pretty much my strategy. If you notice, if I would have done that right here, I would have made a lot of money. You know what I mean? But I gotta wait. What I'm looking at is a 1 minute time frame. Real quick, while I'm doing that, let's look at something, see if we can't find some of those candle opportunities real quick. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get off. If I get a live trade tomorrow, I'll jump off and do a small reel. But look at this. Oh, look at that. There's a shooting star. That's a shooting star. It went up. There's a 5-minute time frame. You see the candle went up, and then boom, there it is. It's like a small hammer. That's good. This is a doji candle. It went all the way up and then ended at the same place. That's awesome. Let's see if we see something bullish go up. This is a heavy hammer. You see, it went up, it went down, then it came back up, and it ended up lower than it was. Right? So every candle is telling a story. And I think when you're practicing, you want to be able to tell yourself, okay, what does this right here? Let's put a rectangle around this. Let's do a little lesson for those that are with me. I want to draw a rectangle around this. This is 5 minutes, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. This is 25 minutes right here. And so I'm going to break it all the way down. Matter of fact, I'm going to take it to, let's take it to 2 minutes. All right, and let's tell the story of what happened here. All right, so first of all, it's going up, and then all of a sudden we had a nice candle with a flat top. Flat top says it pushed itself down. The sellers were in control. All right. Then once it went to the next candle, another flat top, boom, pushed itself all the way down with a little resistance. Then it came right back. So you got 3 red candles in a row, flat tops. That tells you that the sellers are pretty much in control of this whole situation. That means that the buyers aren't happy with the prices and everybody's selling. Everybody's like, hey, this is the point, man. I'm tired of what I got. They're selling, selling, selling. Then the fourth one is some indecision. It's that spinning top. Goes to the top, goes to the bottom, a little in the middle. And then once again, the third one, you got sellers again, pushing it all the way down. Sellers again, boom. So that's 7 in a row. Then you get one bullish. Then you got indecision candle and then 2 more. So pretty much right here, sellers took over this whole block, pushing down, and it continues to push down. Now, this tells me that sooner or later, they're going to reach a price. And that's what happened. It started hitting support right here. And just like any type of store or market, I don't care what happens, sooner or later, people can't say no to the sales. That price gets right in this area here, like right here at 1244. And people start saying, hey, we got a sale going on. And I know if you've ever been shopping, it's hard to say no to a sale. So this is the support right here. It hit this support. Boom, right here at 1240, at 112.448. And then it never looked back. Once it hit that price, it bounced off. And now it's kind of trying to find its way. It's trying to find its way. What should the correct price be? But if I'm looking at all these go down, that's telling me that sooner or later, it's going to have to go up. That's why I like a buy position right here. But before I try to strengthen my other position, I've got to wait until the RSI, Relative Strength Index, gets down below 30 so that I'll have an assurance of a recovery right there. All right. And we'll understand more about that later. So when this right here, RSI reaches around in that 30 range, I'm going to put in a buy and I'm going to recoup. And then I'm going to put my take profit in for about $20 or $30 and I'll be done with that trade. All right. So everything else is looking good, man. I got some slow trades going in here. Let's see if I can't get anything out of this one. Nah. I'm not going to force anything. Just kind of stay patient. All right. I think we're good for the day, man. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Remember our candlestick patterns. Big shout out once again to our sponsors for the day. Let's get them back on the screen so we can get them a shout out. I got a lot going on, don't I? That is Ben Monsters 255-581-1755. Tired of stinky bins? Let us handle the dirty work. Big shout out to Ben Monsters. How about West Rentals? West Rentals. They rent tents, tables, anything you need. Give them a call. 256-600-5955. And then how about Perfect Pro Wash expert exterior cleaning. Go ahead and get that concrete clean, the roof clean, house clean, all that good stuff. 256-600-8898. And as always, we're talking about a Fresh Start Counseling at freshstartcounselingservice.com for all your mental health needs. And We Sanitize Cleaning. Big shout out to all of our sponsors. We appreciate you. Y'all have a blessed one. And let's go ahead and key out. Let's get people, give a hand. I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all be blessed.